petitioner, my lord. All the petitioner here.
My lord, before my learned friend starts, my lord, your lordship, my lord, I request, my lord, your lordship, my lord, kindly consider these writ petitioners are, my lord, either TET 12, TET 14, TET 2022, TET 23. It's very difficult, my lord, to factually, my lord, to assist your lordship, my lord. Kindly, my lord, segregate them, my lord, file a fresh, my lord, D.El.Ed, B.Ed, my lord, all jumbled up petition, my lord. This petition, my lord, should not be entertained, my lord. My humble request before your lordship. Humble submission. Well, they should come, my lord, with, my lord, categories, my lord, they should.
This petition is all not about TET. This petition all about, my lord. All the petitioner, my lord, TET qualified. I will satisfy this court, my lord. Once a TET pass, always a TET pass. I will satisfy, my lord, that this is neither the domain of neither by the state government nor by the board, my lord. I will explain everything, my lord. Because last 3 days, my lord, I hearing it, my lord, I know, my lord, what is my prayer and what is the subject matter of this. My lord, affidavit of service, my lord, as well as, my lord, court fees, my lord, kept on record, my lord. What is my subject matter and what is my prayer?
কাগজ দিন না ক্যান্টে এসছে
If my learned friend wants,
তুমি কি আমাকে অ্যালাউ করাবে না তুমি অবজেকশন করলে না অ্যালাউ করলে তুমি দশটা অ্যালাউ করে দাও
if my learned friend, my lord, yesterday survey can application, I got it, my lord. I gone through it, my lord. Preliminary objection is there, my lord. I want the objective. Why I will place it later on. First I place my case, my lord. Thereafter, why I make the objection, my lord, I will do it. Because the first instance, the board says before by starting.
Conceding to that, if he is allowed, then we can have a
Malad,
direction
Malad,
of copy
yes it will be helpful for all of us. It will be
so that we can hear it out, or otherwise
but we have filed the application on the similar ground. It was allowed by your lordship yesterday, but here, my lord,
Mr. Shamim,
Yes.
if you consider, we can pass a order to that effect, recording your opposition and allowing them so that they can also make their submission. We can
At the time of passing the order, my lord, that order, my lord, because already, my lord, in this two petition already allowed, but preliminary objection, my lord, record my preliminary objection.
তো সেটা অ্যালাউ করে দিতে বলছেন জজ সাহেব করে তুমি একটা কপি আমাকে দিলে সুবিধা হবে সেটাই বলছি তাহলে তুমি অ্যালাউ করে নাও অ্যাপ্লিকেশন আচ্ছা
My lord, first objection is made by the board that they themselves objecting in two grounds, which I collect for last 3 days. One is that who are get qualified with B.Ed degree, they themselves says that they are not at all eligible for participation, as per my humble understanding. First. Second is that, my lord, they says whosoever is participated in the TET 2023 in pursuance of 2023 to 2025 batch, they are also not eligible. So who are eligible? Because in our state, because the state regime, how it came, my lord, that is the most important thing. In our country's primary education setup, my lord, education is a concurrent list subject. State as well as central government may make rule in this regard, may make legislation in this regard. First time in the year 2009, after the constitutional amendment in the way of Article 21A, right to education. This 21A says about right to education.
yes.
The state shall provide, the state is all endeavor of the state. Each and every word is very. The state shall provide free and compulsory education to all children of age of 6 to 14 years in such manner as the state may by law determine. So it is state duty to give free and compulsory education to all of the 6 to 14 years children. Now, in the light of that, my lord, right, Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act 2009 came out, my lord. Kindly see, my lord.
Madam, may I do-
My lord, kindly turn section 23. This is the qualification.
Yes.
Section 23. Qualification for appointment and terms and condition of service of teacher. Any person possessing such minimum qualification as laid down by on academic authority authorized by the central government by notification shall be eligible for appointment as a teacher. Who is that academic authority? Central government says the NCTE is the academic authority. So NCTE is the central legislation. NCT, how the NCTE cropped up? NCTE cropped up by a central legislation. So that is a central act. NCTE, by that central legislation, last occasion where I handed over this spiral binding, or that is, I believe that is
Let's go with that record. We'll find
I'm
out.
extremely
It-
sorry, my lord. I have
Ah.
just one copy, my lord. So NCT Act is a central act, and NCT is academic authority chosen by the central government by a central legislation. So everything is by a central legislation. Now, my lord, what is state? I came it thereafter, my lord. What is state? So everything is as in the domain of the central government, the complete domain of the central government. Not a single wording herein is in the domain of the state government. Now, my lord, kindly see the NCT notification. Thereafter, I place the guideline. এই
ওই
extension validity of
বাইরের
guideline.
বাইন্ডিংটা না নিয়ে
আর তোমাদের
দিয়েছিল
আমি বলে
ওই আগের রেকর্ডের সাথে চলে গেছে যেটা ওই লাহিড়ি
9/6/2021 সব মুখস্থ
পার্সুইং ক্যান্ডিডেটস
21
হ্যাঁ আপনার সেটা আছে ওনারটা চলে গেছে ইয়েস
But this is a notification by the NCTE. Very important, my lord. To all secretaries, got it, my lord? Commissioner of Education of State Government. It is communicated. Oblique duties. Subject. Extension of validity period of teacher eligibility test certificate. Got it, my lord? Madam oblique sir, in accordance with the decision of the National Council for Teacher Education, in its 50th general meeting, body meeting, and the approval of the MOE, VDA letter number such and such, the second sentence of para 11 of the guidelines for conducting teacher eligibility test issued by NCT VDA letter number such and such, dated such and such, which is within court. The validity period of TET qualifying certificate for appointment will be decided by the appropriate government, subject to a maximum of 7 years for all categories. It was earlier, TET certificate validity was 7 years, shall be substituted by within court. The validity period of TET qualifying certificate for appointment, unless otherwise notified by the appropriate government, would remain valid for life. But very important, I read it again. Why I read it again? I will explain. The validity period of TET qualifying certificate for appointment, unless otherwise notified by the appropriate government. Who is that appropriate government? The state government. Yielded to one single notification that state government of West Bengal, denying that proposition, issued a notification that no, in our state,
ইয়েস
in our state, they give the validity of the TET certificate 5 years, or they cancel the TET certificate whosoever got TET certificate with B.Ed degree, or whosoever got TET certificate with untrained degree, or whosoever got TET certificate any other means. Suppose they can issue it anytime. But point is that, well, if that's so, even as argument's sake, if that's so, if state government says no, we will not give the validity of that TET certificate lifetime. We will give validity for 20 years or 10 years. Suppose that will not be prevail. Already is well aware of the fact that doctrine of repugnancy, Article 254. If there is a conflict between state government and central government legislation, any form, whether in the form of legislation, whether in the form of notification, then central government legislation will prevail. That is doctrine of prevalence, Article 2. In this score, in this matter, there is not a single notification by the state government regarding of TET certificate validity. For this matter, make it simpler, I will say that once a TET pass, always a TET pass. Once a Madhyamik pass, always a Madhyamik pass. Once a LLB pass, always a LLB pass. Once a graduate, always a graduate. Why I say so, I'll explain.
Yes.
Why I say so, I explain it. Suppose nowadays, my lord, usually 3 years graduation, new education policy came up, NEP. New education policy, this professional course, various professional, even the B.Ed degree. Whosoever wants to do the B.Ed degree, after some time, my lord, this B.Ed college or D.El.Ed college is no longer the validity. Because of that, according to the NEP, they want to bring it in a combined mode, graduation with B.Ed. So that reduce 1 year, that would become 4 years course, graduate with B.Ed. Now B.Ed is 2 years course and graduation is 3 years course. They combined it and make it 4 years in new NEP, although that is not take effect of. For the argument, suppose that take effect from the year 2027. Is it mean the earlier B.Ed degree become invalid or earlier D.El.Ed degree become invalid? Or whosoever in service by that B.Ed degree or D.El.Ed degree, that become redundant? I ask this question to myself. No, not at all. Now, my lord, I want to show, because I believe, my lord, that 2010, that minimum eligibility criteria, which is issued by the NCTE being academic authority, I placed it because what is TET? To meaning it, what is TET? I believe.
This binding.
In that file, my lord. And it is mentioned in, thereafter I place the guideline. My lord, kindly take the minimum qualification teacher, this binding, 23rd August 2010. And that is mentioned in the guideline itself. This 23rd August 2010. That is the first notification after 2009 Act came in.
Yes. The
What is
13th
that?
November. No.
This
23rd August.
23rd August. If my lord handed over,
My lord, that is annexed in my application. You will also kindly see it from my application. Page 36. That is annexed in my application.
না এইটা দিয়ে দিন, কারণ এইটা লাগবে, কারণ আমি এই 2018টাও দেখাবো। তোমার 2018টা কি অ্যানেক্স করা আছে ওই বিয়েটা?
না না না, আসলে দেখতে হবে।
What in my lord?
Yes.
My lord, yes. My lord, kindly see the heading. In exercise of power conferred by subsection of section 23, which I mentioned, my lord. That is, being an academic authority, NCTE suggested of the right of children to free and compulsory education Act 2009, and in pursuance of notification number such and such, issued by the Department of School Education and Literacy, Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India, the National Council for Teacher Education, NCTE, hereby lays down the following minimum qualification for a person to be eligible for appointment as a teacher in class 1 to 8 in a school referred to in clause N of section 2 of the right of children to free and compulsory education Act 2009 with effect from the date of this notification. Now, my lord, came in the minimum qualification. Class 1 to 5, I read it slowly. A, senior secondary or its equivalent with at least 50% marks and a 2-year diploma in elementary education by whatever name shown. Known. There is 2 types of education. One is academic, higher secondary, graduation. This is a pure academic. Another one is after there is another course that is called professional course or teachers training course. Thereafter, or is there. So or means disjunctive clause. So either you have that combination, 8 years with diploma in elementary education, or senior secondary or its equivalent with at least 45% marks, and 2 years diploma in elementary education by whatever name known in accordance with the NCT. I just keep it because or means all are disjunctive clause. You either you have to that to combination degree. Now mala turn very next page. This is come under column A. One column A. Now mala turn. And so after adding these two, academic and professional qualification, and pass in the teacher eligibility test to be conducted by the appropriate government. So conducted by whom? By the appropriate government. That means government of West Bengal. Now in our state, why I mentioned it, in our state appropriate government give this responsibility to the West Bengal Board of Primary Education. But actually it's conducted by whom? By the state government. In our state, TET is conducted by the West Bengal Board of Primary Education. D.El.Ed course is conducted by the West Bengal Board of Primary Education, and selection process is also conducted by the West Bengal Board of Primary Education.
Yes.
So this is with TET. So 3 minimum qualification is required. One is academic qualification, another one is professional qualification, another one is 1-day test. That is TET is 1-day test. I will place thereafter because this is 2010 memo. Thereafter, NCTE conduct. Thereafter, NCTE, my lord, because they decide that TET is a minimum eligibility criteria along with these two, NCTE issued this guideline. Guideline. একটা কপি আছে তোমাকে দিয়ে দিচ্ছি
11 অ্যাপ্লিকেশন
এই রিপিটিশন আছে my lord, may I read from the first line again. To all secretaries stroke commissioner of education of state government stroke UTs, subject guideline for conducting teacher eligibility test under the right of children to free and compulsory education act 2009. Sir oblique madam, in accordance with the provision of subsection 1 of section 23 of the RT Act, the National Council for Teacher Education had been notification dated 23rd August 2010, that is which I placed it, laid down the minimum qualification for a person to be eligible for appointment as a teacher in class 1 to 8. It had been inter alia provided that one of the essential qualification for a person to be eligible for appointment as a teacher in any of the school referred to in clause N of section 2 of the RT Act is that he/she should pass the teacher eligibility test, which will be conducted by the appropriate government in accordance with the guideline framed by the NCTE. So it is NCTE's dictum to all of the state. You ought to follow this guideline. And in this regard, please find enclosed the guideline for conducting the teacher eligibility test for necessary action at your end. This may be brought to the knowledge of all concerned. Usually,
Yes. Yes.
usual practice is that, my lord, guideline is not mandatory, is not binding. But this is a unique type of situation, and because this emphasis from the constitutional right. Constitution says state government ought to take that endeavor. They ought to give free and compulsory education from class 1 to 8 student. But free and compulsory education ought to given. And by the Right to Education Act, central government appoint an academic authority, that is NCTE, to give the quality education throughout the country. They want that quality education enhancement and give an equal opportunity to all of the students. They enhance it. And for that proposition, this state come. And for that reason, this guideline become mandatory. And Supreme Court in Shiv Kumar Pathak case says this guideline is mandatory. I will place later on. And by following that Shiv Kumar Pathak, initially this board don't want to give the TET pass certificate. And this court passed that order. I will place later on, Malad, when I place the judgment. I place the guideline first, thereafter I place that judgment, Malad.
Yes.
Guideline for conducting teacher eligibility test, background and rationale. The implementation of Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act 2009 requires the recruitment of a large number of teachers across the country in a time-bound manner. In spite of enormity of the tasks, it is desirable to ensure that quality recruitment for recruitment of teachers are not diluted at any cost. It is therefore necessary to ensure that the person recruited as a teacher possesses the essential aptitude and ability to meet the challenges of teaching at the primary and upper primary level. I just pause it here because of that, my lord. Because in pursuance of that, when NCTE issued that notification, the question cropped up. Because in RTF itself says, because at that point of time in our country, there was not adequate number of teachers training institutes. So in the statute itself, they give 5 years relaxation. At that period of time, from 2010 to 2015, any recruitment conducted by any authority throughout the country, they get that relaxation. They can appoint a teacher with relaxed degree. That means without D.El.Ed pass. At that point of time, even by taking that cue in our state also, several selection process was conducted. But after crossing that time, not a single appointment has been given, or they ought not to given, in violation of NCTE minimum eligibility criteria.
But my landed friend proceed further, my lord. At least my application be decided because I have to give reply to them.
You will give reply.
But unless I have been added in the as parties in the writ petition and gone through the copy of the writ petition, it is difficult for me to give reply to you. But it will take a longer time. But he will submit, then I'll make my submission, then will he reply. Mr. Sharna will be there. It will be a chaos situation. Ultimately, the last date is on Tuesday. So, whatever may be the
whatever Malad wants to do, it is upon the court.
If you also kindly allow me my application, I'll ask them to give me a copy and fix it on Monday. I'll come back. Because I have to give answer, I have to go through this petition.
Malad, they already gone through. Malad, they in other petition, they already make their respective submission. Malad, if that's so, Malad, I will lose.
Who are the applicants here?
The Malad, they are the two applicants. They are Malad, the TET qualified. There is no quarrel on that. The TET qualified D.El.Ed candidate. Malad, they are eligible for participate in the selection process. Malad, they have initially a writ petition was filed before this honorable court. I have showed to you also in the last occasion, that is page 61, whereby the TET certificate, TET qualification, rather the TET eligibility criteria, TET eligibility
You are
issued in
2022.
2022.
Your client is 2022.
Yes.
No. My client is.
But they are that is the reason I have to know.
Malad, that is not a subject matter of their case. That's why, Malad, I satisfy this court that never ought to be a subject matter of that matter. That's why I satisfy this.
That is the reason, madam, praying if you also kindly allow me, because
But that is not a subject
2022,
matter.
Mr. Samim was there. He added as a party in the said writ petition.
Malad, in our petition, there are even TET 2014 also, as well as 2022. Obviously, because that is the minimum.
Well, kindly see page 64. Mr. Samim was there. The order of Bangla Justice Mantha, whereby he was added as a party since his state certificate was under challenge. Page 64.
Not this petitioner, my lord. No, they are not that. They are not that petitioner, my lord.
And there is an interim order subsisting till today, and the petition is pending.
No. What is your locus in this application?
No, but I have challenged
These petitioners are also pursuing to get into the process of recruitment.
selection process.
And you have qualified. Now you are also eligible to participate.
Participate in the selection process. But if they are otherwise allowed, my pool of selection will be decreased.
They allow the application, give them the copy.
Yes, I can give it, but Malad, today, Malad, I continue, Malad. I make my submission. Then if he wants to reply on Monday, Malad, because of that, Malad.
Can 1 of 2025? This is an application. Addition of party. Learned advocate Mr. Tutush Ghosh, learned advocate for the petitioner, submits that applicants. Applicants are eligible to participate in the ongoing process of recruitment of assistant teachers for primary schools with a notification dated 25th September 2025. In which process the petitioners intend to participate. As such, the applicants are necessary parties. Petitioners / opposite parties for them. Mr. Firdaus Samim, learned advocate for the petitioner's opposite party, leaves the matter to the discretion of the court. It is not in dispute that the it is not in dispute. It is contended by the petitioner that they are eligible to participate in the ongoing recruitment process with a notification dated 25th September 2025. In light of the above, this court finds that these petitioners are necessary party. According to respondent numbers
7 and 8.
7 and 8. Is added respondent number, they be included as added respondent 7 and 8. Can 1 of 2025 disposed of?
Let the writ petition be amendment and copy of the
Yes.
pleadings
Advocate
be
for the
supplied.
petitioner is directed to hand over copy of the writ petition along with its annexes to the learned advocate for added respondents. The writ petition be amended accordingly. এই আগেরটা না বলতে হবে কথাটা বলা হয় ঠিক আছে ক্যান 1 of 20 ডিসপোজ অফ ইয়েস
Much obliged.
না আসছে না এখন একটু হিয়ারিং হয়ে যাক তারপর লিস্টে ওর জবাব করুন।
My lord, now I place that because the flow is good. But now I place the para 2 of that guideline. In accordance with provision of subsection 1 of section 23 of the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act 2009, National Council for Teacher Education (NCTE) has laid down the minimum qualification for a person to be eligible for appointment as a teacher in class 1 to 8. Vide its notification dated August 23, 2010. A copy of the notification is attached as Annexure 1. One of the essential qualifications for a person to be eligible for appointment as a teacher in any of the school referred to in Clause N of Section 2 of RT Act is that he/she should pass the teacher eligibility test, which will be conducted by the appropriate government. The rationale for including the TET as a minimum qualification for a person to be eligible for appointment as a teacher is as under. 1. It would bring national standards. So TET is not about the state, only a state standard. State is all about to bring the national standard. My contention is that, my lord, if they want to cancel it, one and only the NCTE can revoke it. I will place the whole guideline. There is no such clause or any notification for revocation of TET certificate, but it never be. Why? Because of that, suppose my lord, a Madhyamik pass, it never be. If a Madhyamik pass, he is passed. If a certificate is given, thereafter there is no such revocation clause. In the whole guideline, I placed it whole as a whole, at least three para, obviously. There is no such revocation or cancellation clause.
Yes.
I just read it. It would bring national standard and benchmark of teacher quality in the recruitment process. It would induce teacher education institution and student from this institution to further improve their performance standard. So TET, what is the intention of that TET? It is clear from the para 2, now para 3. It would send a positive signal to all stakeholders that the government lays special emphasis on teacher quality. So this state bringing the standard in national level, number one, to upgrade the standard of the teacher. That is the whole purpose. Now kindly see the very next 2 paragraphs that is important. The TET examination may be conducted by a suitable professional body designated by the appropriate government for the purpose. In our state government designated the West Bengal Board of Primary Education to conduct it. That's why they conduct, but they ought to follow the NCT guideline.
Yes.
It will be conducted in accordance with the guideline here under. Eligibility. 5. The following person shall be eligible for appearing in the TET: a person who has acquired the academic qualification. There is no such plural. A person who is pursuing. That means pursuing is already on a place. I will not place it here. Whosoever entered in the course is also eligible. So TET purpose is not the teacher's training knowledge. If a person, because I just compared, if a person suppose who complete the teacher's training course and who not complete the teacher's training course, both participate in TET. who is more talented. Without completing the D.El.Ed course, who passed the TET, he's more talented.
How?
Because of that, he have no knowledge of pedagogy. Yes, but kindly see, suppose,
This is a
yes, yes, my lord,
Very
why?
bad analogy.
No, my lord, with deepest of respect, with deepest of respect, with deepest of
Person who has-
respect, with
Person who has passed MSc
my lord,
is a
with-
better student than person who is pursuing MSc Part 1 with good marks in BSc honors.
my lord, TET
This
is-
analogy cannot be.
my lord, with deepest of respect, I just clear myself, my lord.
There-
Suppose, my lord, joint entrance examination. Suppose, my lord, joint entrance examination. Joint entrance examination is cleared by a 7 pass student and cleared by 12 pass student. Who is more talented? The
No,
person
this
who is 7 pass.
separate. This is separate issue.
My lord, TET is a one-day examination because of my learned senior place. They are not
We-
so talented. They are not knowledgeable.
No,
This is-
if you make a general principle, then it should be applied generally.
yes, my lord.
And don't give an example of any exception. The
Ma-
seven pass is passing joint entrance.
My
Seven
lord,
pass is
here, my lord, TET is with deepest of respect, my lord. TET is allowed the pursuing candidate as well as the complete student.
It is correct.
So, my lord, that is not that TET is all about the professional qualification. TET is my whole endeavor is that TET is a complete separate entity, separate examination. It's a one-day examination. Kindly turn very next page. Structure and content of TET. It will give a clear picture what is TET. Para 6, my lord. The structure and content of the TET is given in the following paragraph. All question will be multiple choice question, each carrying 1 marks with 4 alternative, out of which 1 answer will be correct. There will be no negative marking. The examining body should strictly adhere to the structure and content of the TET specified below. 7. There will be 2 papers of the TET. Part 1 will be a person intend to be a teacher for class 1 to 5. Paper 2 will be a person who intend to be a teacher for class 6 to 8. Mala kindly see very next paragraph, very next column. Paper 1 for class 1 to 5. Number of MCQs 150. Duration of examination 1 and a half year. That is 1 day examination. Child development and pedagogy 30 marks. Language 30 marks. Language 2 30 marks. Mathematics 30 marks. Environmental studies 30 marks. So it is a 1 day examination. Nothing more, nothing less. So 1 day examination, pursuing candidate is also allowed, B.Ed pass is also allowed. Even in our state, in the TET 2014, untrained was also allowed. In TET 2014, there was untrained allowed, B.Ed passed allowed, D.El.Ed passed allowed, and everyone got TET certificate. Not a single notification in this regard that their TET certificate is cancelled. If that's so, that means after that TET regime came, that means 2010 or 11 onward, because the guideline came in the 2011, every certificate ought to cancel. Most of the certificate ought to cancel. Why? Because most of the person, because in the year 2016 selection process, 42,949 vacancy was there. Out of 42,940 vacancy, only 11,000 odd candidate was D.El.Ed pass, and others are untrained. So at that point of time, when they passed TET, general analogy is that there was untrained, so their certificate will gone.
No,
Not at all.
Just interrupting, my lord.
আমি তুমি বলবে তুমি যখন
No, just the order of the decision bench, we are issuing TET certificate those who only got this training.
I placed it. I will place it.
TET candidates were issuing TET certificate 2014.
We are not-
The decision said whenever he will pass training, he will issue TET.
Okay.
We are not issuing. That is why my
Now I place one. What is their contention? Their contention is that when they appeared in TET, at that point of time, there was B.Ed. B.Ed is cancelled by the Apex Court in Devesh Sharma. So their TET certificate will gone. Now their stand is so. So generally, same analogy came here. If they say so, at that point of time when they passed TET, if they was untrained, same analogy came here, then their certificate will also go. Because of that, we also subsequently trained as the who are in service. They also they passed trained TET earlier with an untrained as an untrained candidate. Subsequently, they get that D.El.Ed training. Same analogy here. If they protect their interest who are in service, why they not protect our interest? Why they curtail down this competition? The general analogy is that, my lord, and this is a Supreme Court verdict. Right to education includes right to it is because it's a citizenry right. Right to education includes right to teach from a good teacher. Until and unless there is a huge number of people came in this selection process, how could I get a good teacher? It's a general probability. If higher number participate in a selection process, there are higher probability to get a good teacher. It's a general analogy because they ought to gone through a selection process. That is itself a hard process, a competitive process. That's my my lord. So that is my contention is that, my lord. Kindly see the certificate clause. That is before that, my lord, qualifying marks, para 9 and applicability. Para 9 qualifying marks. A person who score 60% or more in the TET exam will be considered as state pass, school management, such and such. I just skip it. So 60% marks ought to, because for SC, ST, and for others, 55 marks, that is 82 marks. So later on, this High Court have judgment in this regard. Applicability 10. TET conducted by central government shall apply to all schools referred to in subclause 1A of section 2 of the RT Act. That means CTET is for the central government school. TET conducted by the state government oblique UT will legislator shall apply to a school to the state government UT, the legislature and local authority referred to, and a school referred to subclause 2 of section 2 of Act in the state of UT. That means, and a school at 1 and 2 may also consider eligibility of candidate who have obtained TET certificate awarded by another state oblique UT legislator. In case of state government UT, with the legislature decided not to conduct TET, a school at 1 and 2 in that state UT consider that TET conducted by the central government. So that means if central government conducted CTET, that is applicable to all the central government school. The state government applicable to state government school. If another state, suppose West Bengal government conducted, this is conducted by West Bengal Board of Primary Education. They conducted, they issued certificate. If the Assam government wants, they want to use the West Bengal government, they can do so. And not only that, my lord, if they want to use CTET, they can do so. That is the whole purpose of that. A school referred to in subclause 4 of the clause N, section 2 of RT Act may exercise the option considering either TET conducted by the central government. 2N2 4 is the unaided school. So unaided school can use CTET to state TET, any TET. So awarding of TET certificate is very important. So that's why para 11, the frequency of conduct of TET and validity period of TET certificate. The appropriate government should conduct a TET at least once every year. The validity period of TET qualifying certificate for appointment will be decided by the appropriate government subject to a maximum of 7 years, which later on by that notification become lifetime for all categories, but there will be no restriction on the number of attempts a person can take acquiring a TET certificate. A person who has qualified TET may also appear again for improving his or her score. Procedure for conduct TET, the examining body shall formulate a detailed procedure and lay down the instruction for conduct of the TET. Candidate should be informed that a very serious view will be taken on any malpractice or impersonation. So, if even a candidate use any malpractices, suppose because earlier matter, a learned friend says that some misrepresented under the domain of the conducting authority. If they want to cancel the TET certificate by exercising this para 12, they can cancel it. Whether there is any cancellation notification? No. Answer is no. Now, my lord, legal dispute, I just skip it. Next paragraph, that is very important. Para 4.
14.
Para 14. The appropriate government conducting the test shall award a TET certificate. Every petitioner herein is awarded TET certificate. To all successful candidates, the certificate should contain the name, address of the candidate, date of birth, registration number, year, month of award of certificate, marks obtained in each paper. The certificate may be electronically generated with adequate security features. Appropriate may consider utilizing the service of the specialized agencies for issuing dematerialized TET certificate, that is DMAT, TET certificate as a security features to avoid any kind of malpractices. My lord, why I read it?
Yes. Yes.
But why I read it? The reason of reading is that what would contain of the TET certificate, that is also mentioned, but nowhere it is mentioned by which means, by which, on the basis of which educational qualification he gathered that TET certificate, that is not mentioned. Why? Because of that, he at that point of time, when TET conduct notification was there, at that point of time, whatever the degree, because degree might be changes time to time, then like NEP came. Suppose tomorrow or day after tomorrow, there is one notification came, no, D.El.Ed course ought to be 5 years. Might become. That doesn't mean TET certificate will go. TET certificate is a unique. That's why in the minimum eligibility criteria, by that disjunctive clause or later on by para B, after adding this adjunctive clause and the TET was there. So TET is an unique test for the benchmark of the teacher's quality. Bring the teacher's quality in the same standard throughout the country. That is the purpose of TET. And once a TET pass, always a TET pass. My whole endeavor of that this submission is that, my lord. Once a TET pass, always a TET pass. Until and unless it is revoked on the grounds of there is revocation. 2 grounds is there. I read it again and again. 2 grounds is, one is malpractice, one is impersonation, and only the authority who conduct it, they can recall it on that 2 score. There is no other cancellation clause, there is no other revocation clause. And now, my lord, monitoring.
The petitioners have passed state in which year?
My lord, there is several years, my lord.
You give the chart 1 to suppose 1 to
My
7
lord,
or something.
the handwritten, my lord, I'll give it tomorrow because handwritten, my lord. If several years, if my lord, it is all not good because of that.
Give the
Because
year.
some of them is 2014, some of them 2000. Even one of the candidate, he passed 3 TET. TET 2014, TET 2022, as well as TET 2023.
2014 is there then?
2022 and 2023. Some of the candidate passed 2 TET, some of the candidate even passed 3 TET. And why they participate? Because the numbering, because in selection process, suppose TET allocated number is 5. So if a person get higher number, he got higher marks. So that's why we appeared again and again. If I got, suppose earlier year he got out of 150, suppose he got 100. This year he got 110. So he will use that 110 certificate.
Okay.
Because of that, he got the higher number. And then in the competition, he
will get better now.
advantage. For that reason, they participated again and again. Now, my lord, monitoring. Following measures would be taken for monitoring the quality and administration of the TET. The appropriate government shall appoint a nodal officer for the purpose of TET. NCT would organize meeting of nodal officers at least once every year. So each and every TET after conducting, because their frequency of TET must be 1 year. And not only that, after conducting, there is a meeting with NCTE, whether as per this guideline or not. Because what is the purpose of this guideline? Purpose of this guideline is that to bring this elementary education in the same standard throughout the country. For that reason, that's why rationale is mentioned in the guideline. For that reason, they bring this TET conduct guideline with a definite subject, that is pedagogy, language, mathematics. So that is the purpose of that TET. And the one set TET pass, in the cost of repetition, I say it, one set TET pass, always a TET pass. So there is no such revocation clause, there is no such cancellation clause. So TET never be a cancel. If they want to, only NCT can do so, no other authority. Second thing, notification 2022 notification. I just spoke from their own notification. My lord, this is a notification of state conduct notification, and West Bengal Board of Primary Education issued this notification in the year 20. I just saw one notification. Notification, got it, man? Notification for conduction of teacher eligibility test 2022 for class 1 to 5 by West Bengal Board of Primary Education as per the NCTE guideline, because that is mandatory. Issued by NCTE from time to time and in accordance with law. All concerned are hereby notified West Bengal Board of Primary Education have decided to hold teacher eligibility test for the year 2022 on such and such days throughout the state in exercise of statutory power as per the NCTE guideline and in accordance with law. So they mentioned it. Now, my lord, kindly come the eligibility clause. There are one. The last eligibility clause. Graduation with at least 50% marks and B.Ed. Got it, my lord?
Second.
No, my lord. Last my lord, this column, first page, my lord. First page, last column, my lord. I believe, my lord.
Last column, yes.
No, my lord, first page. First page, last column. First page, my lord, the eligibility criteria, last column. Graduation, at least 50% marks and B.Ed. My lord,
Yes.
got it, my lord? So they themselves mentioned in their notification, graduation with B.Ed is the minimum eligibility criteria. And last occasion, my lord, and the very next page, after one page, my lord, what is the date of submission of online application in the year 2022? Page number 3. Just information and guideline for teacher eligibility test 2022.
Yes.
And the date of submission of online application 14/10/2022 to 3rd November 2022. Have they altered within that period their eligibility criteria? Answer is hereafter, my lord, they issued a notification. Oh, notification টা কোথায়? উজ্জ্বলের এরপরে pending আছে. Thereafter, my lord, just my lord, turn just few pages, my lord. Notification for enjoying edit option, and thereafter, my lord, on 7th November 2022. Just turn few pages, my lord. 7th November 2022 notification. Order টা দাও না. Number one page order.
7th November, yes.
Yes. After closing of online application, my lord, they mentioned an SLP number. What is that SLP? In the matter of SLPC 20743 of 2022 and other connected matter to allow B.Ed candidates to participate in teacher eligibility test. SLP number is mentioned. And I got through it from the Supreme Court website. What is the SLP? What is the matter about? Got it, my lord? So that is SN Raja and another for the state of Kannada. That too after last online application. So, my lord, they after last date of online application, they mentioned a wrong SLP. They says it is a public notice. The public notice was given. The rule of the game you can't change in a meeting of the game. And rather, they want to change the rule after completion of the game. Now, my lord, Devesh Sharma is annexed here. I believe they also. Tomorrow Devesh Sharma দিয়েছে তো নাকি?
কালকে তার
ওটা কি ইয়ে মানে রিপোর্টেড ভার্সন না নন রিপোর্টেড ভার্সন?
সব রকমই দশ হবে।
Yes.
My lord, with this bunch, my lord, Devesh Sharma is also annexed because yesterday I believe the unreported version was given. That's why, my lord, I annexed the unreported version. Para 3. What was Devesh Sharma? What was all about Devesh Sharma? Because Devesh Sharma is not about TET certificate, is not about test. It's all about selection. Kindly see para 3.
Yes.
Para 3, page 3, para 3. What lies at the core of the dispute before this court is the notification dated 28/6/2008 issued by the National Council for Teacher Education herein after NCTE made in exercise of its power under subsection section 23 subsection 1 of the Right to Education Act 2009 herein after referred to as the Act. This notification made B.Ed degree holder eligible for appointment to the post of primary school teacher class 1 to 5. All the same, in spite of the above notification, when the board secondary education state of Rajasthan issued an advertisement on such and such date for Rajasthan teacher eligibility test is excluded B.Ed degree holder from the list of eligible candidates. This action of the Rajasthan government was challenged before the High Court. The petitioner Sri Devesh Sharma has a B.Ed degree as per the notification dated. He was eligible like many other similar candidates. Consequently, he filed his petition before the Rajasthan High Court inter alia, praying that the advertisement number such and such be quashed, as it was violation of notification dated issued by the NCT. Apart from the above batch of petition, there was another set of petitioners with their own grievance. There are the candidates who are diploma holder in elementary education, which was only teaching qualification required for teacher at primary level, who are aggrieved by the inclusion of B.Ed qualified candidate. They too filed writ petition before the Rajasthan High Court, challenging the legality of the notification dated such and such. The state of the Rajasthan understandably supported this second batch of candidates before the High Court, as they would do before this court. Out of the three writ petitions before us, two are challenged the notification dated 28/6/2018. That is the notification of NCT, because my lord, if my lord take the bunch, what is the 28? Because I forgot it, my lord, pardon me. But what is that notification? It will be very helpful for this court also. My lord, 28/6/2018. What is the notification? My lord, kindly take that. 28 June 2000 in the spiral bunch, my lord, NCT bunch. Got it?
This one?
Or this spiral, NCT spiral. What is that NCT notification? Side by side, if these two notification pages, one is 2010 and 2018. 2018, 28 June 2018. If my lord handed over it, I can. When my lord can pay this.
So
A copy of the just my lord, I handed over. Designation for what is my lord?
yes.
Because earlier, my lord, side by side, keep the 2010, just few page back. In exercise of power conferred by subsection 1 of section 23 of Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act 2009, and in pursuance of notification number such and such, dated such and such, issued by the Department of School Education and Literacy, Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India, the National Council for Teacher Education hereby makes the following further amendment to the notification number such and such, that is 23rd August 2010, published in the Gazette of India Extraordinary Part 3, Section 4, dated 25th August 2010, hereinafter referred to as the said notification, namely, in the said notification in para 1, in subpara 1, in clause A, after the word bracket, graduation and 2-year diploma in elementary education by whatever name known, the following shall be inserted, namely, that means after that 5-6 line, that is or mentioned in 1A, this also includes graduation with at least 50% marks and Bachelor of Education, B.Ed. So that was under challenge before the Rajasthan High Court. Devesh Sharma, madam.
Yes.
Later on, my lord, it comes to the apex court, my lord. The apex court says this notification gone. In the clarification says the letter after in the clarification, that is also annexed with my petition because they elaborately placed it,
Yes.
giving all the teachers who got appointment by the dint of this notification, their appointment is saved by the apex court. Apex court is completely silent about it. Why silent? Silent cause of silence is that, my lord, in the meanwhile, because at that in that proceeding, NCT was the party. In this proceeding, NCT is not party. If wants to cancel it, appropriate government ought to make notification, because in NCT guideline it is mentioned that it is lifetime validity subject to appropriate government. Appropriate government came with any notification? No.
Yes.
So only power emphasis the power delegated to the NCT only. There is no such authority in the state. It is a central legislation. A state government can't say so that no, we will cancel it, because education is a contrary subject matter. If
What about
even
clause
there-
12?
Huh?
You have shown clause 12. Clause 12 of NCTE. Clause 12 of the NCTE guidelines.
Just NCTE, yes, madam. Only procedure on the grounds of malpractice and impersonation, the conducting authority, because suppose, my lord, in examination, suppose we want, that's the reason the NCTE says if malpractices and impersonation, suppose instead of X, Y sat in the examination, impersonation and malpractices. If that two grounds is the only ground of revocation of TET certificate or cancellation of TET certificate. That is the procedure of conduct of the TET test. They can cancel their candidature on this two score, no other score.
Yes.
Now, my lord, so my lord, after I just want to summarize my submission. My submission is that once a TET pass, always a TET pass. TET pass with as an untrained, their TET certificate is also valid. Whosoever in service who not got service, they all are same. Their TET certificate is valid. With B.Ed degree, their TET certificate is also valid. Because on not that, I just want to show one to Hindastada. Earlier occasion, this issue came up before this court in Tuhin Das matter, my lord. আরেকটা copy দাও। Before recess, my lord, I talk. Yes, my lord, after recess, Tuhin Das.
So you will conclude right now.
By today, my lord, I just not more than
No, conclude that. Conclude whatever you have completed. Again after recess you will start.
My lord, I complete in one. That would be better for the for me also.
Other probably Mr. Ahmed has already argued in the other matter.
Yes. I just show in the regarding 2020-25. I just show two notification. Number Tuhin Das 17750 W of 2018. WP. W. তুমি জানো এটা।
Which paragraph?
I first, that is, up to paragraph 2, because what is the case, what was the case that is mentioned, the following issue is to be determined in the case whether the respondent authority, particularly the West Bengal Board of Primary Education, is duty bound to issue TET pass certificate to the petitioner in terms of clause 11, read with clause 14 of the guideline dated 11 February 2011, framed by the National Council of Teachers. Fact of that case is very important. The petitioner case in a nutshell is as follows. The petitioner have participated in the teacher eligibility test 2014 in terms of the notification issued by the West Bengal Board of Primary Education on 26 June 2015, as well as the notification dated 12 October 2016. Further, the petitioner are eligible candidate for completing the selection process for appointment to the post of primary teacher through TET 2014. He also possesses requisite qualification to participate in the selection process of teacher eligibility test 2014 conducted by the West Bengal Board of Primary Education. It is also case of the petitioner that all the petitioner are B.Ed qualified candidates. April 8, 2019. What is matter? B.Ed qualified candidate. Accordingly, the petitioner appeared in the written examination for TET 2014. On 26 June 2015, a notification on application form for TET 2014 was published by the West Bengal Board of Primary Education. In terms of the said notification, the eligibility criteria for appearing in the selection process as well as for appointment to the post of primary teacher through TET 2014 is quoted below. A person who has passed HS or its equivalent degree with 50% marks or has been graduate, irrespective of the percentage of marks in such graduation examination from a recognized university in 2014 or before 25th May 2015 is only eligible as per the aforesaid notification. To get the form, result of the state examination was published on 14 September 2016 and petitioner got result through their internet from the website of board according to their respective roll number. Despite being qualified in the TET 2014, petitioner were not supplied with the TET 2014 pass certificate from the West Bengal Board of Primary Education till date. Although the guideline dated 11 February 2011 issued by the National Council for Teacher Training clearly specified that the appropriate government conducting the TET shall issue certificate to all the successful candidates, and the certificate should contain the name of the candidate that is mentioned, which I already. Unfortunately, the West Bengal Board of Primary Education has refused to follow the state guideline and arbitrarily illegally withheld the issuance of the certificate to the petitioner. And what was the submission? I just skipped Mr. Bhattacharya's submission, my lord. What was the submission before that bench, my lord? Para 7 onwards. The same submission by the par contra. Got it? Par contra. Mr. such and such, and a senior counsel appearing for the board submitted that neither the notification for TET 2014 dated 25th May 2015 nor the notification regarding scrutiny and verification of the testimony dated such and such which were prepared in terms of NCTE guidelines describe the candidate public person with B.Ed qualification as trained candidate. Therefore, all the petitioners having B.Ed qualification were considered as untrained candidates by the board. Accordingly, they were not offered any appointment. It was also submitted by Mr. Gupta that sitting in and appearing in TET 2014 examination will not confer any right to petitioner to be appointed as a primary teacher unless and until they are trained with the qualification of 2 years D.El.Ed. Course equivalent thereof admitted to the petitioner are untrained, do not possess the qualification of 2 years D.El.Ed course or is equivalent. Therefore, the petitioner cannot claim appointment on the basis of the qualification of the B.Ed as a valid training qualification in selection for the 2016 to 2014. It is also contended by Mr. Gupta that inasmuch as the petitioner are not eligible for being considered for appointment as primary teacher in state of West Bengal, they are not entitled to get TET certificate for following reason. 1. Petitioner qualified TET 14 as untrained candidate during relaxation period as there is no provision for consideration of untrained candidate in the rules. 2. Untrained TETs qualified candidate are not given any employment as per MHRD dated such and such. NCTE notification being such and such has substituted subpara A, para 3 allowing B.Ed qualified candidate to be considered as trained candidate subject to the fact
Which
that
is-
within 6 months.
Which is the proposition you are relying on from this judgment?
My lord, ultimately the court hold that, or I not placed it, my lord, I keep that, my lord, ultimately TET certificate issued. So whosoever the same proposition was taken in that matter, that they are TET qualified with a B.Ed degree or untrained, so they are not eligible for getting TET certificate. Ultimately, court passed that you ought to give the TET certificate. They give us TET certificate after making this submission. Now, my lord, they want to reopen it again. That same proposition. That's my.
Was appeal against my lord.
Yes.
Court my lord modified the order.
Yes.
Okay, TET certificate issue. You place
The
that.
order was appealed against.
Yes, you placed it.
আসুন